they're 2-1. And Quebec City now is 3.
They're 2-1.
They lost University
King.
master team.
Wait, do you know the foreign sports team that won CUC? I was thinking maybe it was like a bunch of English people, but probably not. This is Masters? They're running very fast in Masters.
Yeah. On number 36, Max Lee. He's from Montreal. This team is from 36. Max Lee is a pickup from Montreal. I've never seen a guy with footwork as quick.
Really?
He's just like, he doesn't run fast like tack, 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 tack. He goes very, very small step, but so explosive.
Okay, so we're live again.
Look at this guy. With his shirt off.
You're 5 minutes
Oh,
ahead.
that kid. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
No.
again.
No, buddy. Don't pull the cord, buddy.
Oh, God.
Okay.
His child.
Let's try to find that.
We gotta give him something to play with.
Do we still have power there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. He's also a French baby, so, or a kid, I guess, not a baby.
So, hey kid, don't pull the
Yeah,
cord.
I'm like, he's
Probably
like,
doesn't understand.
I have no idea. He's like, who's this crazy Englishman yelling at me? I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's gotta be It's good to
Yeah, keep your kids entertained.
respectful stuff. Playing with that.
Oh, jeez.
It's funny, his dad, I know his dad out
Oh,
front,
do you? Okay.
and the 2 kids, they're twins.
Oh, okay.
So they are like 3, 4.
Oh, no, it's all good.
Yeah,
I just like can't have it go down again.
it was just funny when his
Yeah,
wife got pregnant and they knew they were expecting twins, like they were both very, very like competitive ultimate players, playing at the highest skills.
Yeah.
And then she became pregnant when you have twins, and they're from France, so all their family are
Hard on
overseas.
your body.
So you say, okay, let's take it, not one day at a time, one breathe. Let's try to hang in there until the next breathe. Then one breathe, and then one at a time. And so yes, it can be challenging.
They just
You sounded like you were gonna have a breakdown. Hilarious. I had a really nice soft black suit.
Oh really?
Yeah, if you came over when you were gone, so I shot.
Okay. Nice guy, eh?
Very nice guy.
Nice guy, great athlete.
Whenever you guys ready?
See,
I'm ready. Good. Bon avant-midi, good morning everybody. Étienne Fournier avec vous. J'aurai le privilège de partager cette web diffusion en direct du championnat canadien d'Ultimate ici à Brampton en Ontario, édition 2019. On aura la chance d'assister à un match de la division Mix Master qui opposera Qold de la belle ville de Québec à Notorious KWG de l'Ontario. KWG qui veut dire Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph, donc le sud-ouest de l'Ontario. And I will not be alone. I have the great privilege of sharing, co-hosting this webcast with the unique, one of the top female player of Ultimate in the country, Brittany Dos Santos. How are you, Brittany, this morning?
I'm good. We had a really exciting first game, and I can't wait to have another one right now.
good old rivalry, Quebec versus Ontario in the mixed master division. So we've attended this morning a game featuring Battleship against Victoria, and Battleship finding their way through, winning 14-9. Now we're going to see mixed master division, still pool play. Qold being undefeated yet in this competition, while Notorious has a 2-1 score, 2 victories and 1 defeated. They were defeated once by Universal yesterday against the other mixed master team, which is called Qold. So we have the ambition of doing this webcast in a bilingual fashion. So we'll do our best to entertain you the best we can. If you have as much fun as we have here live in Brampton, I'm sure you will have a great hour and a half for this game. So the game is intended to last 90 minutes with a hard cap at 85 minutes with halftime of 5 minutes. Alors, on a la prétention de faire cette web diffusion de façon bilingue. Alors, on est en train de décrire l'action en français lorsque l'équipe du Québec sera en possession du disque. On ira en anglais lorsque l'équipe Notorious aura possession du disque. On espère que vous aurez, si vous avez autant de plaisir que nous à partager ce moment, ben vous aurez beaucoup de plaisir parce que c'est un privilège d'être ici avec vous avec un microphone. Alors, on vient d'entendre la sirène qui annonce le début du match. Qold qui débutera les hostilités avec le lancer d'engagement. It's pretty windy condition here in Brampton, so you can see the flag waving in the back end. So the wind kind of dying now way from the top left side of your screen down to the right bottom side. Zone defense. Poachy defense by Qold to start off this game. Notorious looking for a reset. Miscued right off the bat, 10 yards shy of their own end zone. Qold reprend le 10 rapidement, on attaque le côté bris. La numéro 10. C'est Alexandre ou Alexandra Saint-Onge. Peu importe, la cible était la numéro 26. Alors, première opportunité de bris du côté de Qold qu'on n'a réussi pas à confirmer malheureusement. Notorious back with the disc. Floaty disc. Tons of pressure. But it's being nailed by Notorious. There was some contact. One player is down early in this game. Too bad.
Notorious also really nice to see how shallow they set up their stack, especially going upwind. For that huck to be possible, it's really important to start shallow, and they set up that cut perfectly. The throw was a little floaty, but it was a really nice stack and setup cut.
So discussion amongst the observers. So I was talking to Brun Charland, the Qold coach, just before this webcast, and they played a game this morning against the other Quebec mixed master team, BOD, and they ended up winning the game, but they said they had to call a spirit timeout in the first quarter. You know, sometimes two teams from the same province, there's kind of a rivalry, everybody knows each other and they know what's at stake, so it was some kind of a climb up into intensity, but both teams agreed to take a spirit timeout to calm things down and make sure the game is played as it should be. Qold qui menace. On est dans la zone rouge. C'est plutôt Notorious présentement. Et voilà, Notorious that scored the first point of this game. Number 0, I think, Aaron Lewis has been the one who scored. So Notorious been in the white jerseys and Qold in the dark jerseys.
That was also a nice leading inside pass. Those in the end zone, as my coach Carlo would say, are very, very hard throws. She's not a huge fan of them, but when you have enough space and you open enough space to lead the pass, it can be a really useful throw, especially in the end zone.
So I might have been misleading to begin this webcast, but in the white jerseys, it's Notorious from Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph region, while the dark jerseys are Qold from Quebec City. My apologies for this misleading statement. Alors, Qold, qui sera en réception de service. Plusieurs joueurs de Qold ont déjà joué sur l'équipe Onyx, une équipe qui a été hautement compétitive de la région de Québec au niveau canadien. Et entre autres, a terminé deuxième au championnat du monde à Prague, après avoir défait plusieurs grosses équipes américaines. Ils sont de retour sur la scène canadienne. Ça passe dans les airs, ça flotte. Et c'est converti par Qold qui inscrit son premier point rapidement dans ce match. On est à égalité 1-1 après une belle passe longue. On ne perd pas de temps du côté de Qold pour inscrire le point. Je crois que c'est Julie Massé, le numéro 2, je crois, qui inscrit le point.
Massé there doing a really good job of reading the disc, not having to go up early for it. She just boxed out her defender and just easily ran onto it for a pancake.
Taking possession of the space you should be you need to in order to capture the disc. So exchanging punches so far to start this first half. This game featuring two mixed master teams, one from Quebec, one from Ontario. We're still in pool play action here in Brampton, Ontario, 2019 Canadian Ultimate Championship. It was quite windy yesterday, and it gets windier and windier this morning. So we saw that it had quite an impact on the scores outplayed yesterday. And the previous game this morning, Battleship versus Victoria, the win was a factor that both teams had to deal with. And Battleship somehow, someway figured it out better than Victoria to earn the win. Notorious with the disc, looking for reset. Oh, this was in the air. There was some bumps. Obviously, it will not be challenged. Uncontested foul. Matthew Abercroft. Now there was a pick call in the stack, vertical stack, played by Notorious. I was asking Notorious before the game what were the expectations for this tournament. Are they shooting for the first position, for the gold medal? And to summarize their answer, they say, well, who's not shooting for the first position? So
That is true. Everybody's here to win, and anybody can at nationals. No matter what the seed, anything can happen. Upsets happen all the time, and it's anybody's game.
Qold playing a person-to-person defense. Notorious putting the disc in the middle, but it's miscued. Number 14, Langlois, will put the disc back into play. Langlois. Now it's number 19, Paradis. Another veteran from the Quebec City Ultimate scene. Langlois faking it. Nice pivot work. Great handling action by Qold. Stall is getting high, looking for a reset. Clock is ticking. Great pressure by Notorious on a person-to-person defense, putting tons of pressure. Now, here's the hole, number 20, Simon Bélanger. Finds 79, Pierre-Luc Delagrave. C'est maintenant le 47, Alexandre Dion. Patiemment, on remet à la 21, Marianne Pilon. Langlois avec le disque. On est patient du côté de Qold. On connaît l'importance des points bris tôt dans ce match. Un stack vertical en zone de points. On cherche à attaquer le côté bris. On cherche à remettre en soutien. C'est complété. Paradis, ou plutôt, oui, c'est Pinon. On est patient du côté de Qold. Le numéro 4, Marianne Roberge, passe dans les airs. Oh, c'est défendu à la toute dernière seconde par Notorious. Nice anticipation by the Notorious player who hooks it very, very far away, but just slightly out of reach. Number 6, Matthew Evercroft was the intended receiver, but there was a ton of pressure on him, so he kind of went backward for a few steps, which had made him lose his speed. So
you can also hear Notorious KWG on the sideline yelling no OI right now. Qold really likes those inside shots, and they're trying to make adjustments to them.
Both teams looking for a break point early in the first half of this game. Paradis, en soutien à Roberge. Roberge à l'Anglois. L'Anglois, il touchera beaucoup de disques aujourd'hui, l'Anglois. Maintenant 47, Dion. Alexandre Dion. Belle tentative. 2 belles tentatives en Notorious. Et là, on alimente la joueuse de Qold dans la zone qui s'était franchement démarquée. On attend la confirmation des observers. Les mains sont dans les airs et le point bris est confirmé. Qold qui se donne une avance de 2-1 tôt dans cette première mi-temps en inscrivant le premier point bris.
Qold, they're really working the disc everywhere on the field. They had it on the open side, swung it to the break side. They're really doing a good job of swinging the disc and not forcing it towards one side of the field. And because of that, opening up that completely easy shot for the score.
Alors, c'est le numéro 21, Marianne Pilon, qui a inscrit le point bris pour Qold. Marianne Pilon, qui est aussi une des capitaines de cette équipe. Sinon, la capitaine, avec Brun Charland, là, qui agit à titre d'entraîneur. 2 figures de proue de la scène du Ultimate, non seulement de la ville de Québec, mais aussi de la province au grand complet. Notorious suffering from a break point early in this first half. Will have to battle upwind in order to keep hold with their offense line and tie this game to 2. Nice pull by Qold, very deep in Notorious end zone. Qold setting their zone defense. It looks like to be a 3-3-1. Notorious finding the holes, moving the disc well, quickly earning some yardage. Now resetting, allowing Qold to reset their zone. Successfully. Notorious going back and forth. Find the holes in the middle. It's an open field. Number 8 with the disc, taking her time. Number 20 finding his teammate, number 25, deep in the end zone, Amanda Rambeau, who scores the second point of Notorious, tying this game 2-2.
Notorious really working Qold zone there. Had no trouble, shots through the middle, swinging the disc around. Really made it like an easy, clean hope.
Usually we see like a zone defense transitioning to a person-to-person defense about halfway in the field, and how quickly you can recover from that transition, or how slowly. Then that's where the window of opportunity when you're on offense is huge, and you got to take advantage of that, which Notorious has very, very well done in the last action. So just taking advantage of the open players, and we saw it was a fairly easy pass to Rainbow in the end zone. So
yeah, and Qold not just having not enough time to melt fast enough, considering how quickly Notorious was moving the disc.
great handling job by the white jerseys.
Very good. In zones, typically they force you to slow down but also want to go fast at the same time. So Notorious did a really good job of keeping calm while moving the disc quickly.
C'est 2-2 à ce début de première mi-temps qui oppose Qold de Québec à Notorious KWG du sud-ouest de l'Ontario, de la région de Kitchener-Waterloo-Guelph. On est au championnat canadien de la division mix 2019. On va dire de Master Mix. Et maintenant, c'est Notorious qui fait goûter à la propre médecine de Qold en faisant une défensive de zone. Et c'est rapidement rabattu au sol par Notorious with a break opportunity about 15 yards away from the end zone. Notorious, vertical stack, threatening. Number 7, Yakov Ilan, a veteran in the ultimate scene. Notorious confirming the break point, taking the lead 3-2 early in this game. So we're exchanging break points. So great patience by Notorious, who were able to turn the disc about 15 yards away from the end zone.
Notorious really keeping these O points really nice and clean and quick and efficient. I'd assume they'd been doing that this whole tournament, possibly why they seem so energetic still.
Alors Qold qui se fait rendre la monnaie de sa pièce là, en étant victime d'un point bris, qui ramène les choses à égalité. Là, on a un point bris de chaque côté. Notorious qui a commencé en offensive et qui mène par un seul petit point, 3-2, dans ce début de première mi-temps. Alors, on vous rappelle que présentement, on vous diffuse le match qui oppose ces deux équipes de la division Master Mix. Ce reportage qui a commencé à 10h30, donc encore beaucoup de temps d'Ultimate à profiter pour cette web diffusion. Le prochain rendez-vous sera à 2h30 cet après-midi pour un match de reclassement. Les deux équipes restent à confirmer. Ça dépendra, l'organisation s'adaptera en fonction des résultats des matchs qui auront lieu jusqu'à 10h30. Alors, c'est notre prochain rendez-vous, sans compter les rendez-vous qu'on aura demain ainsi que dimanche pour présenter les matchs de quart de finale, demi-finale ainsi que les finales des catégories Mix Master et Mix. Qold en possession du disque avec un lancer d'engagement qui atterrit un peu passé la ligne de milieu. Qold cherche option, c'est la passe longue, ça flotte, mais c'est hors de portée. Alors Jean-Philippe Gérin, numéro 89, un autre vétéran là, de la scène du Ultimate québécoise qui a tenté cette passe longue, mais c'était malheureusement trop loin pour la cible entendue. Notorious back in possession at their own goal line, looking to cross the next 70 yards in order to score a second break point in a row. Let's see how they can manage it. Nice dish pass. Nice layout defense. Oh, but it's been caught. It stayed on the defender's body for a few seconds, and the Notorious player just had a quick, and it's a goal! Whoa, what a play by Notorious. What a great resilience, and wow, how to beat the odd. What have we seen here? We saw a play like the number 5 from Quebec teams, Mathieu Bordelot. Nice layout bid, but the disc ended up, I think, on his back, on his butt.
It ended up just sitting on his back.
And just have the quickness to pick it up. It's not down, it's still in the air. Notorious player taking it and just feeding his teammates, ending it in a second break point in a row for Notorious, who takes a 2 points lead now. Wow.
That was a crazy play. Also on Notorious, Brienne Root really doing a good job as a center handler, a really good handler reset, really moving the disc well for her team.
Qold, qui appelle un temps d'arrêt pour se remettre de ses émotions. Wow, quelle action ici. Bordelot qui plonge pour intercepter cette passe. Le disque qui jongle dans les airs, atterrit sur le bord de l'eau, n'a pas touché le sol, donc le disque est toujours en jeu. Le joueur de Notorious rapidement prend le disque qui est sur le dos de bord de l'eau, le remet en jeu et 2 passes plus tard. Et là, on rejoint son coéquipier. On inscrit un deuxième point bris consécutif pour Notorious qui se donne une avance de 4-2 tôt dans cette première mi-temps. Alors, eh bien ça, je me souviens d'avoir vu une action similaire là, dans je crois que c'était un match de USA Ultimate ou série collégiale, je crois. Mais il faut vraiment être très très alerte là, pour penser à récupérer le disque comme ça. Mais quel plongeon de bord de l'eau qui, malgré tous ses efforts, là, ne réussit pas à créer le revirement.
Interesting to see also Qold setting a zone on Notorious. Often, Notorious being a very speedy, athletic team, possibly Qold is thinking that would slow them down a bit and cause them to do a lot of passes and have a miscue. Because Notorious right now is really dominating on their physical ability.
A ton of experience on those teams' rosters. So looking forward to see how Qold will respond and how Notorious will work out their 2-point lead. Only 20 minutes were played so far. 6 points were scored. And many very valuable actions so far from both of these two mixed master teams. Zone defense by Notorious. Qold en possession du disque. On gagne des vergements, mais là, c'est une mauvaise communication ici. Là, la cible était Pierre-Luc Delagrave, mais malheureusement, Notorious wants to put the disc back into play quickly, but there was a call here. I think it was on that's why there was a miscue from Qold. I think it's number 21, Marianne Pilon, the captain, who claims she might have been a victim of a pick. Not sure. They're discussing with the observers.
And just an unfortunate turnover by Qold there. The receiver wasn't sure if it was for them, so they sort of stopped for a second and got caught. Luckily, they got a quick turnover, and hopefully they get another chance to score.
It's easy to say when you're on the booth like we are, but, you know, when the disc is there, don't wonder if it's yours or if it's somebody else. Just take it. Of course, easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to mention that in this game's morning with the Battleship, there's the 2 players from Ottawa, which, you know, they don't speak much French, but still they train with Battleship for over 3 years now. So there's this language barrier. So all the drills are being run in French. So they had to overcome this in order to be successful. And we saw MAP being very, very successful. So indeed, somehow, some way, they figure out a way to make it happen. So while there's an ongoing discussion with the observers, let's see what will be ruled out. Alors, il y a eu un appel là, par la capitaine Pilon. Alors, ça semble demeurer une possession de disque pour Notorious, qui a provoqué le revirement et qui reprendra le disque à peu près à la ligne de Brickmark. Donc, Brickmark possession for Notorious. Oh, nice! Foot block by Langlois, denying this break pass very, very cleanly. So, great agility displayed by Langlois here, who just says no. A very low passes. I think it's Roberge who claims to caught it, but the Notorious players thinks otherwise. It was a very close call. Hard to tell from our point of view. I think we're going to ask the observers to rule it out. Observers asking for who had the best perspective. Last point had a very slow pace so nobody's sure if it was up or down, so it goes back to the throwers. So Langlois, I think it's Pilon who initiated that pass. So it's a hold for Roberge, who has very well caught that disc. Langlois going swing. Maintenant, ce numéro 10, Saint-Onge, qui cherche une option. Il y a eu l'obstruction au niveau du stack. Qold qui semble jouer un stack vertical. On est en transition défensive ici, après une passe en soutien suivie d'un enchaînement sur le côté. Langlois qui alimente. Je crois que c'est Roberge, le numéro 6 plutôt. Lydia Lebel n'a pu maîtriser ce disque. Le vent là, qui se lève soudainement. Number 15 from Notorious, Jennifer Taves, while putting it back into play. Taves once again. Oh, nice layout bid by number 10 from Qold. Wow, Saint-Onge qui s'impose sur la dernière action. Vient intercepter cette passe et met son équipe en bonne position dans la zone, dans le red zone. Une vingtaine de verges de la zone de pointe. C'est Pilon qui feinte, vraiment attaque le côté bris, mais ne peut rejoindre Langlois là. Mais il y a eu un appel juste avant que la passe soit initiée, so Qold might have a free ride on this one, a free game. Alors on discute avec les observateurs présentement.
Also to note, both teams have been throwing a lot of inside flicks, so perhaps a way to sort of both teams to adjust on the mark, possibly being a little flatter, especially since those round shots with the direction of the wind are a little harder. We saw one that got pushed into the ground by the wind, so possibly just moving that mark a little bit on both sides would help avoid the inside shots.
This point is getting longer and longer, not because of the many turnovers, but because there was a lot of contested calls by both teams. So it's hard to get some rhythm and get some momentum. You spend a lot of time on the field, but not much is happening. So, but still, many calls, but the spirit seemed fine so far. Hope it stays this way. Qold looking to score, to get a fourth win in this tournament, while Notorious looking for their third win. They have lost one game yesterday by universal point. So looking at the body language of Qold players on the sideline, they seems to either disagree with what seems to be the output of this discussion. So let's give a kudo to all the observers acting here at the CUC 2019 in Brampton. It's a very tough job. You have so many things to look at. Either the travels, was there a foul call, even though they're like, and there's only 2 observers today. When you go into the finals and the semis, there's 4 observers, which makes their life a little easier, but it's still very, very challenging because, the game pace is so quick and you have to make decisions and make sure you're aware of everything that's happening. And just like referees in other sports, some players might disagree with you, even though they keep a good spirit, but they might argue with you. So, it's a turnover. Notorious possession, leading by 2, having scored the last 3 points, where c'est un revirement en faveur de Qold, Langlois, qui remet à Pilon. Et là, on appelle un temps d'arrêt. Rapidement, on connaît l'importance de ce point là, qui s'étire. On a appelé un temps d'arrêt alors qu'il n'y avait à peu près pas ou très peu de compte d'entamer. Alors, temps d'arrêt pour Qold qui tire de l'arrière par 2 et qui veut absolument convertir ce point pour rétrécir l'écart à un seul petit point. So how important is that point? As we mentioned that earlier today and yesterday, when the points are very, very long, gets more important to win that point, especially for Qold, who doesn't want to trail They're already trailing by 2. You don't want to trail by 3 with 3 break point against you.
Exactly. Also, Qold going upwind as well. It'll be a lot easier to score upwind and then get a break downwind versus like vice versa the other way around.
Absolutely.
So it's really important for Qold to, especially with long points, it's always feels better to score those really long points. It feels a lot more fulfilling than losing them. Really it's not a great feeling to lose a long point like that.
Absolutely.
At the same time, however, you can't get discouraged when you don't.
There you go. That's what the sport is all about. That's why we're enjoying it so much. So Qold with the disc. I'd say about 17 yards away from the targeted end zone. Try to isolate number 6, Lebel. Disc is floating. It's everybody's disc, but Lebel lands it. She was not the tallest. There was a ton of traffic in there, but she figured out a way to grasp that disc in the air. Et il inscrit le 3e point de Qold qui réduit l'écart à un seul point. Oh, yeah, what a focus by Lebel. There was a ton of traffic, tons of hands in the air. And even though she was not the tallest, well, she was the one who read it the best, I guess.
She also did a really good job of setting up that cut. I find that's a very unexpected cut to happen. Normally they're more horizontal, so setting up that towards the break side and then cutting more of on an angle versus horizontal really caught her defender off guard.
Alors on se retrouve à un match avec un seul point qui sépare les deux équipes. Qold qui s'est donné une avance de 2-1 tôt dans cette première mi-temps après avoir inscrit 2 points consécutifs, un point en offensive et un point bris. Là, Notorious qui a répondu de brillante façon avec un point en offensive et 2 points bris. Ça a donné une avance de 4-2, mais c'est maintenant 4-3 avec Qold qui fera le lancer d'engagement avec le vent qui les avantagera pour la prochaine séquence. Alors, la délégation de Kitchener-Waterloo-Guelph qui porte les chandails blancs will receive this disc. Great pull. Lands inbound. Just a few feet away from the end zone. In cut. Successful. Notorious being forced on the sideline. Bordelot on the mark. Number 5 now with the disc. Emily Atkinson. Now to 41. John Berenz. Looking for a reset. Miscued. Intercepted by number 15. Julie de Grandmaison. Break opportunity for Qold. 10 yards away from the end zone. Going break side and completed by the Grandmaison. We now have a tie game 4-4 with number 15, Julie de Grandmaison, scoring.
That was just an unfortunate point for Notorious. Jordan Richard just slipped on the turf and couldn't catch the disc. And because of that, Qold got the chance to quickly score.
It was a great pass. I'm not sure who did it, but a great around pass by the Qold handler, finding the Grandmaison all by herself on the break side. I think it's number 1. Thank you, Brittany. David Duprat, qui est vraiment une très belle passe du côté bris. A contourné sa marque pour trouver de Grandmaison. Fin seul dans la zone de points. Alors, on a un match égal, 4-4. On s'échange les points, on s'échange les bris. Superbe match jusqu'à maintenant. It's a tie game. A nice game, even though there was some lots of stoppage of play so far. We're 33 minutes into this game. 8 points were scored so far. 4 points by each team. On est au championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2019. On assiste à un match de la division Master Mix qui oppose Qold à Notorious KWG. C'est 4-4, deuxième journée de ce championnat. Superbe température, un peu venteux, mais quand même. Interception de la part de numéro 19, Hélène Paradis. Rapidement, alimente Max Guy sur la ligne, un joueur basé à Montréal. Il joue avec l'équipe master de Québec. Qold qui menace. On fait attaquer la ligne, on remet en soutien. Langlois maintenant avec le disque. Alimente sa coéquipière et c'est le point. On attend la confirmation. Confirmée par les observateurs. Et Qold qui se redonne une avance après que Paradis ait attrapé la passe de Langlois. Et c'est un deuxième point consécutif pour Qold qui reprend les devants. 5-4. So second break point in a row, third point in a row for Qold.
Also want to give a shout out to number 36, Max Guy. Really, as soon as the pull came up, you can see him busting down to stop that first pass.
And when you say busting, like it's
He
Max
was-
Guy, well, like he has the quickest feet in the whole world, I believe. He has such a fast pace, and when he decides to bust, he's incredibly quick. So timeout call by Notorious in order to contain. After scoring 3 points in a row, Notorious now is victim of 3 points in a row. So that is very representative of how tight is that game.
And Notorious probably just telling their team right now that to take a breath, calm down. They got 3 points in a row. They can do it again. Just get back into their rhythm. They have very good offensive flow. They just need to get back into it.
I have great memories of having played with Max Guy, the number 36. When he started playing, I had the privilege of being his coach and captain, and he was like unbelievably quick. He still is, even though he's maybe less younger, but unbelievably quick. And we just had this cue, like when I was holding the disc, he was just screaming, "Etienne!" I didn't have to look, just have to put it long. And if the pass was there, he would catch it for sure. So very, very intense and very great athlete and a great spirit. And he's a great entrepreneur also. He has a store of fruit and vegetable on Saint-Hubert Street in Montreal. So very, very busy guy. And he's also a father of 2 kids, so he never stops. 5-4 en faveur de Qold. Notorious qui a infligé 3 points consécutifs à la délégation de la Ville de Québec. Et l'équipe Qold qui a su répondre de belle façon en inscrivant les 3 points suivants. Donc c'est 5-4 Qold. Qold qui mène par un seul petit bris, un seul petit point. Notorious now on offense, going upwind. Person-to-person defense. Number 50, Andrew Higgins. Another veteran from the ultimate scene in Southwest Ontario, Higgins. And a flawless execution by Notorious number 41, scoring the 5th point of Notorious. So John Behrens make this game a tie one at 5.
Notorious really coming out of that timeout strong. Very nice offensive flow. People were open by quite a bit. Really good cutting. And nice leading passes as well.
Qold is initially seeded number 2 of this Master Mix division. They ended up being first in the province of Quebec. There's 2 teams from Quebec. There's Qold and there's Bold, B-O-D. Alors Québec là, qui recevra le disque, ou qui, oui, en effet, recevra le disque et qui devra aller contre le vent pour la prochaine séquence. On a connu 2 belles journées jusqu'à date dans ce tournoi. Un peu venteuse. Ça ajoute du piquant à l'action. So the wind just spicing the games so far in this Canadian Mixed Master Division Championship. Great distance, but unfortunately landing out of bounds. So Qold will put it back into play at the brick mark. It seems like Notorious will set a person-to-person defense. So yesterday there was no brick mark on the field, so great. The city of Brampton was very kind to adjust. And by the way, the city of Brampton is doing an amazing job at making this event successful, so being very thankful for all their support. Québec, le disque qui flotte. Oh, c'est le Québec qui s'en tire bien. Là, c'est 79 Pierre-Luc Delagrave qui attrape ce disque, là, mais le numéro 20 de Notorious était en position de l'intercepter. Lucas Juricek. Il y a eu un appel pendant que Jean-Philippe Gérin est en possession du disque. Un appel d'obstruction, visiblement. Profite de l'occasion pour remercier tous les bénévoles là, qui s'impliquent dans cet événement, que ce soit ici à Brampton ou encore à Edmonton. J'ai eu l'opportunité de parler avec la responsable des bénévoles ce matin. Il y a près de 80 personnes qui donnent de leur temps pour faire de cet événement un succès. Quand on pense à ceux qui qui marquent les points, tous ceux qui sont impliqués dans la logistique aussi, la logistique des terrains, l'acheminement de l'eau, tout ça. Alors, merci à tous ces bénévoles ainsi qu'à la ville de Brampton de supporter, de faire cet événement un succès. Pilon, en possession du 10, cherche une option. Trouve Gérin, 89, qui attaque la ligne. On remet en soutien, on trouve Max Guy. Un appel d'obstruction dans le stack. So just like to take a few seconds to thank all the volunteers involved into the success of this event. So there's up to 80% on the volunteer roster. So thanks you everybody for taking part in this great event. Nice up the line pass. And it's Roberge, enfin Marianne Roberge, oui, qui termine avec le disque dans ses mains. C'est extrêmement serré, mais beau petit jeu de passe de la part de Qold qui inscrivent un 6e point et qui se redonne une avance de seulement un petit point dans ce match extrêmement serré. So far for Qold, 6 points were scored by 6 different players.
Qold really has a lot of depth on their team. Also, Marianne Pilon doing a really good job. She sort of has done a lot more towards the end of this half, really going every other and having a lot of assists, a lot of nice leading passes.
So Pilon acting as the Qold captain, while Simon Bélanger act as the spirit captain. So Pilon leading her team as a captain and as a player, showing a great skills and great handling skills, defending very well also. So as we were mentioning, there's about 80 volunteers here acting and you know, thinking just scorekeeping, bringing waters to the field, managing the barbecue, all the logistic, the shuttles and all that. And also Ultimate Canada with their full-time staff and part-time staff also, led by Terry Lynn from Ottawa and Danny Sanders. He's based in Victoria, but he plays co-head this weekend. So, hey, how do you take your vacation when you're handling Ultimate Canada on a year-long basis? Well, you go play Ultimate. That's how Danny Sanders rests. So, does he like the sport? I believe so. Notorious going long. Floaty disc. What will be the output of this? Number 50. Grabs it, but there was some contact. A little spiking action here. Higgins just want to unsure. Yeah, maybe a little overreaction. There was, I think I heard foul. I'm not sure. I think maybe that call was retracted. Was it foul or ow? I'm not sure. But nonetheless, it's a Notorious point, tying this game to 6. And the score was called by number 50, Andrew Higgins. So slowly but surely, heading towards the end of this first half. We have a tie game to 6. with Qold taking an early lead, which they have lost after Notorious have scored 3 points in a row. And how do you respond to being victim of 3 points in a row? Well, you score 3 points in a row. That's what Qold has been doing so far to take back the lead 5-4. And ever since, the 2-0 line have been exchanging points. So who will take the half? We're 44 minutes into this game. Qold on the receiving end. Notorious pulling. Kind of downwind. It's kind of the wind goes from the left top hand side of your screen going down on the right hand side. So kind of diagonal wind here in Brampton, Ontario. Langlois. Oh, he hesitated to catch that. Pull, wasn't sure. Still. Possession est pour Qold. L'aliment de Paradis. On remet en soutien rapidement. C'est Gérin maintenant. Paradis, on s'échange les politesses. Paradis qui alimente 21 Pilon. Disque est dans les airs. C'est la numéro 6, Lydia Lebel, qui finalement tranche le débat de franche façon après cette très bien démarquée, très très belle passe ici en avant dans l'espace. Et Lebel n'a eu qu'à cueillir cette passe pour inscrire le 7e point de son équipe. Qold qui reprend les devants par 1 point. So 7-6 for Qold. The 2 O-line exchanging points late in this first half.
And now's the time Qold really wants to get a downwind break into the half.
So very tight game so far. What a show these two teams are providing us. So schedule-wise, after this game, our next appointment will be at 2:30 Eastern Time. Well, we have a crossover game. The two teams needs to be determined by the organization. We'll figure this out between 12:30 and 2:30. So more likely the two teams will be posted on the social media, so stay tuned. One thing's for sure is we will see a lot of action here in Brampton. So 10 seconds remaining for the pool, as mentioned by the observers. Disc is in the air. Luc Harvey pulling this disc deep in Notorious end zone. Being caught. Now it's number 6, Havercroft with the disc. Going break side. Feeding 41, John Behrens. Disc is floating once again. And great bit by number 50. Was a little too short. Dave Lepage qui reprend possession du disc. I think it's Higgins who did that great layout. I think there was a pick call. So great bid by Higgins, but the Lepage was there a split second earlier. Qold en possession du disque, en recherche d'un bris pour terminer cette première mi-temps. Maintenant le numéro 5, Mathieu Bordelot. Possession du disque. Un des leaders de cette équipe, il y aurait eu contact, là, c'est ce que clame Julie Massé. Et la numéro 5 là, qui aurait commis la faute, Emily Atkinson, est plus ou moins d'accord, alors il y aura discussion. So Atkinson claiming that she did not foul Julie Massé. We're asking Bordelot for his point of view. He had a good view. And I think Massé doesn't feel comfortable enough to explaining her point of view in English, so asking Bordelot to help her in sharing her point of view. So Bordelot acting as the official translator. I think we're reaching out to the observers. Let's see what will be the ruling. So it's a contested foul. It will go back to Bordelot. Just confirming what the stall was at. Going in at 4, Bordelot. Left-handed, Bordelot. Il cherche une cible. Commence à se faire tard, là. Il devra trouver une option. Finalement, alimente le numéro 33. Marie-Pierre Huot. Et il y aurait eu obstruction. Est-ce que c'est Huot qui... Et on reprendra à 6, je crois. Parce qu'il y a eu obstruction. Alors même si le compte était plus haut que 6, on reprend à 6 parce qu'il y a obstruction et que le compte est au-delà de 6. Bordelot. Le gaucher. Alimente sa coéquipière, là, le Huot, mais Huot qui tentait de rejoindre son coéquipier là, tout près de la zone de pointe, mais c'est bien défendu par Higgins. Notorious. Looking to respond back with their O-line on the field. Tie this game to 7. Disc is floating. It's far away to Higgins, but just out of reach. There was a lot of whip into that pass, but a little too much. Higgins couldn't keep up. Qold reprend possession du disque à quelques verges de sa propre ligne de points. Cherche une option du côté de Qold. Cherche un soutien. On trouve le numéro 25, Luc Harvey. Qold. S'échange de disque. On cherche à gagner des verges. Bordelot avec le disque. Tout près de la ligne de côté. Il semble coincé du côté de Qold. On veut s'éloigner de la ligne de côté, mais on a quand même tout le côté ouvert, là, très très large. On remet du côté bris. Bordelot qui dit à ses joueurs, hey, vous êtes trop loin, rapprochez-vous. Aidez-nous, donnez-nous des options à l'intérieur. C'est maintenant David Duprat en possession du disque. Et c'est la bombe, c'est dans les airs. Massé qui était la cible, mais elle était devant sa joueuse, mais la passe was a little short and very well read by number 5, Emily Atkinson. She's having a great game so far, Atkinson. Higgins now with the disc. Notorious. O-line looking to hold. Number 14, Nina Navacero. Unfortunate miscue here by Notorious.
This is also starting to be a little bit of a longer point. Both teams need to take a second, maybe even consider calling a timeout. It's a little, or not to the half yet, but calling a timeout and really making throws 100%.
Right.
To avoid such long marathon points.
On trouve Bordelot le long de la ligne. Cherche une option. Mais le 10 dans les airs. Ça flotte. Et c'est bien maîtrisé par le 77, le Dave Lepage. Et c'est ce même Lepage qui inscrit le point bris, donnant une avance de 2 points à Qold à cette fin de première mi-temps. So break point to end this first half by Qold. Now ahead by 2 points, 8-6. So tons of action in this first half. Both teams have exchanges, punches. Literally, not literally speaking, obviously, but you get the picture. So Qold taking a 2-1 lead. Notorious responding back with 3 points in a row. And Qold responding back-to-back with 3 more points. After that, the two O-lines have exchanged points. And Qold ending this first half with a break point. So what can we expect in the second half, Brittany? What do you think? How can the Notorious get back from this? Well, they're still only trailing by 2, but what do you think they should adapt on?
Both teams have sort of steered away from the zone, more so person defense. I think Notorious just cleaning up their offense a little bit more. It seems a little messy, like there's not, or it's hard to find open people. Possibly because Qold playing very good defense. Qold as well, really, their stack as well was a little pushed towards the side of the disc, so if they can push that away and make it a lot easier for those throws to come off, they're doing a good job already. I think for both teams, just cleaning up the offense a little bit and applying a little more pressure Qold had a very nice throw. It was a very hard to defend. So aside from that, just putting a little more pressure, especially on the handler resets.
On va prendre une courte pause. We're going to take a short break for this halftime. We'll be right back. On est de retour dans un instant.
You and your family are diverse and unique. Our experienced optometrists and staff at Kodak Lens Vision Center focus on providing a personalized and unique experience to exceed all of your visual needs.
We are back. On est de retour de ce match qui présente Qold de Québec contre Notorious KWG. C'est 8-6 pour Qold. Petite avance de 2 points. Qold qui a terminé avec un point bris qui commencera ce match, cette deuxième mi-temps en défensive. As you can hear through our mic, it's getting pretty windy right now. Higgins with the disc, feeding his teammate, number 41. Great floating pass. Oh, nicely, but a little too short. What a great action. Great floating pass from Higgins, feeding his teammate, John Behrens. And John Behrens wanted to feed his teammate, but his pass was a little short, unfortunately. That was a great execution by Notorious. Maintenant, c'est Qold en possession du disque. Bordelot, le vétéran, qui alimente Roberge. Roberge cherche une option à soutien. Il y aurait eu obstruction. On reprendra. Et là, le vent vraiment là, qui s'intensifie. Là, le vent qui est en diagonale, là, qui part du côté gauche de votre écran, vers le haut de votre écran à gauche et qui descend vers le bas et la droite de votre écran, donc en diagonale du terrain. Donc, Qold qui est présentement, je dirais, avantagé par le vent, mais plus on se rapproche de la ligne ici, ça devient plus compliqué. Roberge qui est laissé, mais Higgins! What a D! Well read by Higgins! Roberge claims that she might have her hands on the disc while Higgins might have stripped it. Very, very close call. Hard to tell from here. Two players discussing. I guess we'll reach out to the observers to see what will be the ruling of this discussion. That will not be the first time that those two teams are reaching out to the observers. Obviously, it was too tight to call, so it will go back to number 47. Alexandre Dion, qui remettra le disque en jeu. C'est un premier appel extrêmement serré de Roberge qui a été défendu par Higgins. Roberge qui prétend qu'elle avait la main sur le disque. Higgins qui dit non, je l'ai attrapé avant que tu l'aies. C'était vraiment très très serré. Alors on reprend tout simplement. Oh là, petite mauvaise communication des deux joueurs là, de Qold. Il y aurait eu contact. Higgins, encore une fois impliqué, là, qui est partout sur le terrain, mais c'est sans rancune, évidemment, tout à fait accidentel, pardonnez-moi. So Notorious with an opportunity for their O-line to score. They are halfway on the field. 85, Patrick Tuck, spirit captain of Notorious. And it's a turnover.
Hillary Blackett there, just not even contesting the down call, being very spirited about it.
Qold. Vraiment en soutien. On trouve Harvey. Harvey et Dion, on s'échange le 10. Le 10 flotte, c'est Bordelot qui l'attrape. Feinte. Vraiment en soutien. Le vent qui s'intensifie soudainement. Qold en milieu de terrain. On avance par deux. Bordelot attaque le bris. Il trouve Massé. Massé à Dion. Obstruction. Donc c'est Higgins qui a été victime, là, qui tentait de couvrir Bordelot. Mais Dion s'est accidentellement interposé entre les deux, créant de l'obstruction. On remet le jeu en jeu rapidement. Massé maintenant en soutien. Qold à la ligne de brick. Cherche à inscrire un autre point bris. Bordelot qui s'est démarqué. Ouais, je pense qu'on vient de lui appeler avoir marché. Là. Il a clairement changé de direction après en voulant arrêter. Un appel pertinent. Higgins qui lui explique non, on t'a franchement changé de direction. Et Bordelot qui conteste pas. Il y a eu contact sur la marque. Higgins qui était un peu trop près a touché Bordelot alors qu'il feintait. On reprendra le compte à 0. So we'll get back after a foul on the mark. Stahl will get back at 0. Higgins and Bordelot, what a great matchup here. Massé qui s'ouvre à l'intérieur, cherche un soutien. Trouve Harvey. Dans le 47, Dion. On est patient du côté de Qold. On veut enchaîner. Massé. Higgins qui appelle un autre marché à Bordelot. Prétend l'avoir vu changer de direction. Bordelot il remet 10 rapidement. On reprend. On remet à Massé. Une douzaine de verges à la zone de pointe. Dion qui donne des instructions. Harvey qui tente de se démarquer en soutien. Et on trouve Bordelot, le numéro 5 dans la zone de pointe. Et c'est un point bris. Qold qui se donne une avance de 9-6 tôt dans cette deuxième mi-temps. So great patience by Qold, really holding the disc in the red zone, being very, very patient. And finally finding an opening with Bordelot freeing himself up on the break side.
Qold's stack also in the end zone was a little close, possibly why so many picks are being called. So if they spread that out just a little bit, they'll give a lot more room for their other cutters to cut without causing picks, and it saves a lot of time on the field.
So there was at least 2 travel calls against Mathieu Bordelot, called by Higgins, and they were, to me, they were pretty obvious travel call. Kind of changed, really like changed his direction. So Bordelot and Qold will have to pay attention to make sure they don't repeat too often this travel call. Otherwise, they can be granted with a TMF. So the observers are paying attention. Nonetheless, 3 points separate those two teams early in the second half. Qold ahead by 9-6. Notorious on the receiving end of this pool with the win in their back. Disc is floating. Nice pass by number 10, reaching number 8. Was that in? Yes, it is. Oh, what a great pass by number 10, Brianne Root, finding her teammate Kimberly T to score a quick 7-point, reducing the gap to only 2 early in the second half.
That was a very nice throw, really using the wind to her advantage there on the downwind, also sending it towards the side of the field where the defenders weren't. Very nice, clean O point. This is what they need to continue in this game.
I just love the pass by Brianne Root. Really nice backhand, floating, but still very, very accurate. And there was number 8, Kimberly T, that landed that disc, but there was another white jerseys target in there. So 2 women cutting long and a women handler doing this amazing pass. So great women action here in Brampton for CUC 2019 Mixed Master Division. Qold 9, Notorious 7.
Also really nice to see those hucks going up, knowing that they're confident putting those up as well as keeping the defender on their toes.
Absolutely. So we're 67, almost 68 minutes into this game, which is intended to last 90 minutes with a hard cap on at 85 minutes. So far, Qold in the driver's seat after trailing about midway in this first half, but they responded back to take the first half 8-6. But now Qold leads by 2. Number 1, Duprat, qui remet le disque en jeu. Qold remet en soutien. On est forcé côté lancer droit, côté flic. Stack vertical du côté de Qold. Chaudement défendu par Notorious avec une défensive joueur pour joueur. Numéro 25, Luc Harvey. On remet en soutien à Duprat. Patiemment, Harvey Duprat, on s'échange le disque. On attaque la ligne pour créer de l'espace. Le disque en milieu de terrain, quelques verges après le point de Brick. Harvey, Duprat lance la bombe. Oh, mais où était la cible? Je pense qu'il y a peut-être une mauvaise communication. So miscued by Qold. Nice floating disc in the end zone, but nobody near to...
I believe he was looking for Bordelot, was striking deep, but decided to change direction a second too late.
Nonetheless, it's a Notorious disc. Looking to close the gap. They're trailing by 2. Still a lot of time. Trailing only by 2, but there's at least more than 15 minutes to be played. There's a timeout call. The stall was getting higher, so I don't know how many. I would estimate it to be at something around 5 or 6 maybe. So, but the Notorious player, I think number 20, Lucas Juricek, had no option. So instead of throwing a Hail Mary, decided to call a timeout in order to ensure he keeps possession.
Notorious possibly talking about setting up a sideline play or a play that would get them out of their end zone quickly for a fast score, and something that will be 100%, especially we talked about how Qold is very good at scoring once they're on the end zone line, so not giving them that chance to have a turnover or a disc right in their end zone.
And Juricek being probably in the worst position to be on the field, really on the corner, and is really like force flick, so against the wind. So very, very uncomfortable position is in. So I suspect Qold will set up some kind of a zone to sustain the pressure on Juricek. So Bordelot will, it's Harvey, number 25, looks to be, he wants to shut down the dump. Well, there's a wall of players, dark jerseys around Juricek to put pressure. He will have, and is going with the Hail Mary. Disc is floating, coming backward towards Notorious end zone, and it's being secured down by Duprat. Just tip the disc, ensuring that it falls out of reach, and will be a Qold possession on the edge of Notorious end zone. So
Notorious there really not taking any chances, however, didn't exactly work in their favor.
So setting a vertical stack, they will be right on the corner. Harvey, possession du disque, coincé dans le coin, tente une petit reset. Est-ce que c'est à l'intérieur? L'absoluté est là, et c'est confirmé. Un 10e point pour Qold, qui confirme son avance de 3 points. Et il commence à se faire tard là, pour un Notorious, là, avec moins d'une quinzaine de minutes avant le hard cap. Qold qui confirme son avance de 3 points. La ligne offensive là, qui a dû batailler ferme sur la dernière séquence pour sécuriser ce point en offensive. So approximately, less than 15 minutes before hard cap, Notorious trailing by 3. Their O-line is on the field. Still halftime, but you know, clock is against Notorious right now. So as a reminder, our next appointment, webcast-wise, will be at 2:30 Eastern Time this afternoon. The two teams are still to be confirmed. We'll attend a crossover game. So a lot of action remaining on the web here at CUC 2019, Brampton, Ontario. My co-host name is Brittany Dos Santos. My name is Etienne Fournier. I had the great pleasure of sharing this ultimate action here today. It's been a pleasure yesterday, it's been a pleasure today, and it'll be a pleasure later today, this afternoon. So thanks for being with us, wherever you are, double tasking at work, or just chilling, wherever you are, thanks for being there. Notorious with the disc, resetting. Feeding number 5, Emily Atkinson. She's having a great game. Number 41 also having a great game, John Barrett. Havercroft. Feeding Atkinson. Disc is in the air. Oh, nice reading by Notorious receivers. So closing the gap, only trailing by 2 late in this second half. So that's what Notorious need, a quick O-line point. That's what they have achieved. Now they have approximately 12 minutes to figure out a way to break Qold twice in order to tie this game to 10.
Nice read there by Kimberly T as well. The defender wasn't so fortunate to see the disc when it went up. T did a really good job of turning and sort of just seeing it right at her.
If I'm not mistaken, Kimberly has scored her second point of this game. Alors, Qold qui sera en réception de service à votre cause. Porte les chandails foncés, tandis que Notorious porte les chandails blancs. On rappelle que Qold a jusqu'à maintenant une fiche parfaite, n'ayant pas subi la défaite, tandis que Notorious a subi la défaite hier dans un match qui les opposait à BOD du Québec aussi. Ils ont perdu par le pointage de 9-8 sur un point universel. Donc, en bris d'égalité. Alors, deux excellentes équipes qui s'affrontent ce matin dans le cadre de ce championnat Master Mix, championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2019. Qold with the disc. 47. Dion, il a touché plusieurs disques. Là, c'est maintenant Bordelot. Bordelot qui feinte. Cherche une option. Oh là, c'était très serré. Mais c'est toujours possession pour l'équipe du Québec. On bouge le disque rapidement. Dion. En soutien à Harvey. Harvey cherche une option. Du côté flic. Remet en soutien. C'était tout près de la ligne. Et rapidement, Harvey, une autre touche de disque pour lui. C'est maintenant Massé. Massé en soutien à Dion. Dion feinte. Belle patience de Qold. Un stack vertical. On attaque le côté bris. Numéro 24, Marie-Laurence Laberge. Laberge à Dion. On est patient du côté de Qold. On connaît l'importance de ce point. Et rapidement, oh là, ça n'a pas tardé. C'était très serré. La passe était très basse. Belle concentration du joueur de Qold là, qui donne un 11e point et qui confirme une avance de 3 points. Il commence à être tard là, dans cette deuxième mi-temps. 11-8. Qold hanging to a 3-point lead late in the second half.
Qold doing a really job there. They really did, like I said, clean up their stack. It would always look like there was one or two people cutting at a time, really making space for their teammates.
I like it when a handler directs his players. And we saw in the last action, Qold handlers say, giving signs with their hands, hey, give me a break cut, give me something, So communicating with their cutters, and it has proven successful so far. So.
I bet it's funny. A lot of people don't like doing that just because they don't like telling defenders what they're doing, but it honestly doesn't matter that much because if you make a hard cut, you're going to get open one way or another. Somebody's going to be open.
You're absolutely right. I guess bottom end is you cannot over communicate. Whatever you're doing, I never heard of a team who said, hey, we didn't succeed because we communicated too much. It just cannot happen. So Qold pulling this disc with about 8 minutes left before the hard cap horn. Notorious looking to add some point on the scoreboard sooner than later because time is running out. Person-to-person defense executed by Qold. Some bumping on the mark. Fully acknowledged by Qold player. No argument. We hear floating disc landed by Higgins. He's having a great game. Being involved in many aspects of his team. And unfortunately that disc was popped out of the Notorious receiver. It's a turnover for Qold. Qold taking their time, ahead by 3 late in the second half. C'est Roberge qui donne un tracé à l'intérieur. Et là, il y a un appel sur la marque. think a travel call against a Qold handler. Barons marking and miscue. There was we're claiming a foul on the throw. I think it's Langlois claims to be victim of a foul. He claims that Barons might have hit his hand while he was trying to go around. Great reenacting by Langlois. Barons seems to disagree. Observers standing by. Alors Langlois là, qui appelait une faute, prétend que Barons l'aurait accroché son bras. Défend son point, explique son point de vue à l'observateur qui écoute les deux parties. Ça confirmera qu'on lui demande de trancher. Il n'y a pas de faute. Ça sera un revirement. Un revirement pour Notorious là, qui est Notorious with a turnover in the red zone. Looking to score a 9th point to close their 3 points deficit. Notorious with a vertical stack. Higgins, great bid by number 10, Saint-Onge. Great catch by Havercroft. Looking to find a teammate. And number 41, Barons, score the 9th point of Notorious. Now it's a 2-point game late in the second half with approximately 5 minutes to go before the hard cap.
Yeah. Nice patience there by Notorious. Qold was putting on a lot of very tight person defense, and they managed to punch it in and not force anything.
In the first half, out of the 14-point scored, half of those points were break points. Now in the second half, out of the 6-point scored, there's only one break, and it was the first point of the second half, which was done by Qold from Quebec. Alors, dans la première mi-temps, 7 des 14 points inscrits ont été des points bris, alors que des 6 points inscrits en deuxième demi, un seul point bris a été inscrit. Ça a été le premier point de la deuxième mi-temps. Et ça a été inscrit par Qold. Il ne reste plus qu'environ moins de 5 minutes avant qu'on appelle le hard cap. Alors, Qold qui est en bonne position là, pour potentiellement remporter ce match en avance de 2 points, moins de 5 minutes à jouer. Mais c'est loin d'être terminé. Notorious, very resilient team. They will not give up. They will fight until the end, that's for sure. Qold. Patiemment, on lance le disque. On joue de dasque. C'est le numéro 19, le Paradis, qui attrape cette longue passe. Et c'était, elle appelle un temps d'arrêt. Voilà, un appel de vétéran là, de Paradis là, qui s'est dit, ah ben là on est en position de terminer le match. Et on va en tirer avantage. So nice veteran call. I'd say by Paradis. Just say, hey, I'm 1 yard away. There's no stall count. We are in the driver's seat, two points ahead. Late, very late in the second half with only a few minutes to be played. So, hey, I'm going to call a timeout. And, run the clock. 90, I think it's 60 seconds or 90 seconds, I believe, each timeout. So, a veteran call by Paradis.
Also gives them time to set up their end zone.
Make
Versus
sure it's
everyone
clean.
was behind when the huck came off.
Absolutely. Great observation once again. Qold looking to maintain their undefeated position right now. Paradis remettra le disque en jeu. Ça semble être une défensive joueur pour joueur ou personne à personne si vous préférez. Un stack vertical. 3 joueurs dans la zone de pointe. Paradis remet en soutien. Pilon patiemment tente de trouver une opportunité. On est patient du côté. Le disque flotte et c'est intercepté par Notorious. Malheureusement, le temps d'arrêt là, qui ne paye pas pour Qold ne peuvent en tirer profit. À peine 1 minute, moins de 2 minutes avant l'appel du hard cap. Notorious qui cherche une réponse rapide doivent marquer dans les prochains instants s'ils veulent espérer aller en bris d'égalité. Notorious looking for a quick point in order to bring this point in to fight for this game, but unfortunately this is going out. Was brought out of bound by the wind. So nice attempt by number 10, Brian Root, but it will be Qold possession on the sideline, almost at the brickmark line. So number 21, Pilon, had a great game today, feeding her teammate Bordelot on the sideline, the lefty. We call a travel. Bordelot is a left-handed player, so anyway, Bordelot's not arguing. Faking. Feeding Roberge to Pilon. Another timeout call. I guess it will be the last timeout, and we expect the hard cap horn to ring any seconds now. So 2 timeout in the last 2 minutes. Last 5 minutes of playing. So
Qold really getting a second chance to really set something up and have a play for the score to finish this game strong.
So here's the horn. This will be the last point of this game. So it will end as a Qold victory. Will it be by 3 points or by 1 point? We'll know in a few seconds. Nonetheless, Qold maintaining a perfect lining up the victories. Great battle by Notorious KWG. Really fought through. 2 teams exchanging points throughout the second half. Pilon qui remet le disque en jeu. Passe du revers. On force côté revers là, du côté. Là, on est rendu côté lancer droit. Belle passe. Oh, mauvaise communication, mais finalement, c'est Duprat là, qui vient sauver les meubles. Bordelot maintenant qui feinte. Veut mettre fin à ce débat. Et voilà, il alimente sa coéquipière. Et ça met fin au débat. Victoire de Qold par le pointage de 12-9. So Qold closing the books with a victory, 12-9, 3-point lead. What a well-fought game have we seen here today at 2019 CUC Championship here in Brampton, Ontario. So Quebec team going away with the win, but let's give a lot of credit to Notorious, who fought all the way until the end with many great actions. So 2 teams are shaking hands. So Brittany, how can we summarize this game?
Well, it was a really good game. Both teams started off trading points, really going on runs, and unfortunately Notorious couldn't handle the very tight defense from Qold, and their impeccable offense really had a lot of nice completed throws that are very difficult, especially in this wind, and they really cleaned up their offense on their end, making it very difficult for Notorious to get a break in the end.
So number 2 seeded Qold from Quebec City, winning over number 6 seed Notorious KWG. So our next appointment will be at 2:30 this afternoon Eastern Time. The 2 teams remains to be confirmed. It will be a crossover game. So le prochain rendez-vous est à 2h30 cet après-midi, heure de l'Est évidemment. Et les 2 équipes restent à confirmer. Ça sera un match de reclassement. Donc, on vous donne rendez-vous à 2h30. C'était Étienne Fournier avec vous, ainsi que Brittany Dos Santos. We'll talk to you later at 2:30. See you soon and take care.